Hey, Iostex here. I am a professional FPS coach and former professional coach for Overwatch League organizations like the New York Excelsior and the Boston Uprising, with now more than 5 years of professional coaching experience under my belt, running the biggest private coaching business over at iostex.com and helping out players for free over on my Discord's Ask Stux Anything channel.
If I pull up my notes, we talked about just sort of like fire striking more often, being more reticent about when to be aggro with like armor and stuff, using your shield just as your own resource, not as a team resource. And I have found that if I'm doing these things more intentionally and do it in especially like fire striking more often and at corners, my games are just smoother, and like team fights are smoother. I'm building my shatter before the enemy Reinhardt, and overall I'm seeing more success in team fights. I don't like to talk too much about like wins and losses, but I have like raised up my SR a little bit from last time we talked. And so yeah, I still haven't played that perfect game, so still a lot of room to improve. But overall, I've been seeing success with the stuff we talked about.
That is very, very good to hear. The previous coachee, he kind of set the bar very high because apparently he climbed like 500 SR. To be fair though, he was at like in bronze. So, even after gaining those 500 SR, he's still in bronze, because the rating is bigger. But no, that's good to hear. I always like hearing that people climb because it I know what I'm doing, but it's still very nice to just hear like, oh, okay, you're not getting old.
Yeah. yeah.
Okay.
So I was at like, I think when we had our session, I was at like 24 something because I was on like a really big losing streak, and now I've climbed back up to like 26 something.
Okay, that's good. Then, is there anything you want to talk about, like in general, or in specific, or do you just want to go over the gameplay?
I think let's just go over the gameplay. I have like questions about like, I don't know, a lot of my questions are map specific. So like, what's the best way to attack Hanamura, right? Like, I feel like I always struggle with certain maps. But I think maybe I'd prefer to just watch the gameplay that I sent you in a DM, and we can talk about some of that other stuff maybe in another session. I bought multiple sessions, so we'll have more in the future.
Let me open up my game. So you do still want to use the one from like the big message you sent me, right?
Yes, okay. The Oasis game.
Okay, let me note that in. There we go.
Also, can you hear me okay and everything? I'm using a different mic this time.
Oh, no, you sound great. Okay. So now I can also finally go over the the wall of text that you sent, so that I actually know what I'm looking for.
Sure. And there's not much on the first point. I think I played it kind of poorly, but I'm sure that you'll find stuff to talk about. But the main questions I had were second and third point.
Okay. Do you recall those fights? Because if you do, then like I can just review the game normally, like go through it front to back, and then when we get to those specific team fights, you can just ask.
Yeah, I reviewed this VOD myself before I sent it to you. So I think, let's just go through the game, and then we can talk about the fights as we get to them, and kind of use the questions I sent as a springboard.
Perfect. Yeah, the problem is I'm not at like my main PC. I'm on my laptop again.
Gotcha.
So I don't have a second screen to like keep the messages open. It's very, very archaic here, let me tell you.
Yeah. I'm actually on my PC with 2 monitors now, so it's very nice.
Okay. I'm a little jelly.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Can you see the game?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, very good. So, nice early aggression. Nice. You kind of shit on the Reinhardt, which is always very good to see.
Yep, I fire strike the Zarya bubble a couple of times here.
It happens.
And here, so pause it real quick. So here, I think I don't know why I had it in my head. I feel like I got a little bit timid. I feel like I gave up a fair amount of ground on the point, and I don't exactly remember why. But it doesn't seem like I need to be like backing as far back as I do here.
Okay, so once the enemy Reinhardt died, that's kind of when you start to transition into the, offensive. The problem is that in the process of killing him, you kind of went below the threshold of where you want to be as Ryan. So I don't know if I mentioned this in the last session, but generally speaking, you only really consider your armor as like your true HP bar, and then anything below that is kind of a buffer you don't want to rely on. So in this case,
and yeah, that's why I like put up my shield, because I saw that and I was like, okay, we need to cool down for just a second.
Exactly, 100% correct. But so you kind of traded that buffer in order to get the kill on the Rhine, which is correct. So it's completely normal that afterwards you're going to, you're going to kind of give up a little bit of space. The problem is that your main priority needs to be to get all of your armor back. So now that the enemy Rhine is dead, there's no real immediate time pressure. What you want to do is you just want to give your teammates time to get on the point and kind of apply some pressure. And most importantly, you want to use your shield here to buy your supports time to heal you back up.
Yeah.
But the problem is that you go for the fire strike here before you were fully healed up. So the enemies just knock you out of your armor immediately because you didn't have it.
We're down below the threshold again now.
Exactly. So that kind of sucks because now your team, your healers have kind of fallen behind.
Yeah.
But it's okay.
Yeah,
like,
I think I noticed they weren't like pushing onto the point either, so I wanted to like kind of regroup with them. Here I'm just jumping back to like shield my Zarya.
That's fine. See, right here again with the swing.
Yeah, so we're the threshold and need to just play chilly for a second.
Exactly, because it's one of those situations where it's better to be alive and just fire strike for ult charge than to go in and swing when you don't have any armor and then you potentially end up dying.
Yep. And I want to say like this ends up like costing us here because my shield pops and then, or no, actually it doesn't cost us, but I have to like get the fuck out.
Well, yeah, I mean it kind of does cost you guys because
yeah.
At least after they capture the point, they're on the offensive. They want to see how much they can get here.
Yeah, and their Rhine's back now, so it's like we had this like really huge advantage at the beginning, and I kind of just like poorly managed the fight to squander it, unfortunately.
Basically, you were a little over-aggressive. You still need to play by the rules, like follow the fundamentals. Right here, had you just focused on staying alive, letting your healers heal you, you wouldn't have been able to get back on the point, but at least you would have been able to kind of stabilize around this area. And then it's easier for your team to regroup, and you guys can potentially retake the fight. But
gotcha.
Because you were over-aggressive, it just kind of got really snowbally.
Yeah, and I have to do this.
Yeah. Now you've basically set them up for a spawn camp of sorts.
Yeah, and they basically do. This is the story of the rest of this round.
Yeah, so King of the Hill is very, very snowbally. When the first team that wins has such a big ult advantage that the rest of the round is kind of going to be a little rough, and you need to just look for a kind of a Hail Mary ultimate to do something called a tempo swing. So when
that's exactly what like basically all my King of the Hill games feel like, unless they're just like Papega.
It is kind of a dumb game mode. I genuinely wish they would like reduce the rate at which the point capture ticks up, so rounds are a little bit longer, because the timing right now is just really snowbally.
Yeah, I got hit with the Mercy Tracer bomb. I was like, how did I die so quickly from like 374? Because Tracer bomb only does, or Pulse bomb only does like, we don't talk about that charge either. Pulse bomb only does 300, right? I think.
But if there's other damage coming in, you're dead.
Oh yeah. I know. It was like the only source of damage though while I was like around the wall, so I was confused until I looked at the kill feed. Anyways.
But okay, we're close to our ultimate, so the fate of this round kind of balances on how good your upcoming...
Yeah, it's not. I'm going to tell you, it's not. It's poorly timed. I hit people with it, but I don't hit them at a good time. So I'm nanoed, I go in, I get over-aggressive, and I shatter their, like, behind them, but the Zarya has grabbed at this point, and my team is not with me.
You're kind of greedy.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, like, greedy in the sense that you just kind of ignore... So... Okay, so there's multiple things here. First of all, you were a little slow to get your ultimate. So, with a combination of better shield management before, and then fire striking earlier here, right? So you kind of, do you see how you hold your fire strike for quite a while?
Uh-huh.
That's not good.
Yeah, I could have had.
your ultimate much sooner. That's number one. Number two.
Yeah, and then
Mhm.
the reason I like pushed so far in is I had it in my head that I needed to like slam Coalescence, but that's not like I didn't. I don't think I did.
Slamming Coalescence is like a nice bonus, but it's never like a win condition. You know.
Yeah.
Like if she's used it, then you can try to look for it. But if you only think she has it, you don't want to wait until she uses it before you use a Shatter. That's too slow.
It's just not a yeah.
So, right here, you should just Fire Strike around the corner straight away. Would have given you your ultimate. And then, do you notice anything that happens?
The grav goes off.
Before.
So there's two people flanking, or the high. Was there a high noon right there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember this because I think I jumped back with my shield slightly to try and block it, but it didn't get anybody. But I might have hit somebody. It didn't because all of our health bars
didn't hit anyone, but what happened to the high noon?
It got slept, didn't it?
Mm-hmm. So
so is the right play to charge this?
Yes.
Okay, because that seems like it takes me far away from like the front line, but I guess it really doesn't because it's this whole sort of like arc that they have right now that is like the front line.
Yeah.
So to speak.
If you can get a free pick, you just take the free pick.
Okay.
Okay. The enemy Ryan got shit on last fight. He is nowhere near having his ultimate compared to you. So you have more than enough time to just go in and dunk on people. If you get a free pick like this, you just take it and then you can chatter afterwards.
Gotcha.
Just like small mistakes throughout the game that kind of, stack up. Of course, this was a nice chatter, but again, it's just too slow.
Yep. And it doesn't matter anyways.
Yeah, to be fair, again, this is a King of the Hill, so it's kind of, par for the course that if you lose the first team fight, you usually also lose the second. You really need like a very, very big play in order to make up for it.
I think we've got maybe one more team fight here and then the round ends. And I'm trying to make sure we're regrouped. There's this Tracer peppering me. And I'm at this point, the reason I go right here is I'm like, I'm tired of going left. I just wanted to try something else. Then I realize here my team does not follow me, and I'm kind of just alone.
What difference does it make if you go left or right?
I don't know. I was like a little bit frustrated, so I was like, I'm going to not do the same thing. And in this case, it is essentially doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it just kind of cost you time without really doing anything. There was a nice kill on the... Like, you're better than the enemy Ryan, I can give you that much. See, there you go for the pin, which is good. Very nice. Free kill. We never want to say no to a free pick.
I think I'm scared of the McCree right here.
Good. Showing the enemy Ryan who's boss. Going back once you lose your armor. Giving your healers time to heal you back up.
And then we're back in.
Yeah, like the ebb and flow here is really, really good. We should
try to shield off something.
That was... Oh, it was like an okay shatter. I wouldn't say it's bad. Maybe you could have gotten a bit more, but it's okay. It's better to go for like a safe guaranteed kill than to greed for it.
Yep.
So all things considered, I'd say this was kind of by the book, this team fight. Like, you just followed the rules, you played correctly. Like, sure, maybe a Smurf could have gone for like a riskier play and just run behind the Ryan and do something dumb, but that was a very conservative, safe, consistent way to execute that team fight.
Yeah, I felt like the ebb and flow of like the swings in particular was good.
Right here, you're conserving your shield, which is very nice.
I thought about pinning that, and then I thought against it.
Yeah, do not do that. Yeah. So obviously we don't want to pin. Not charging into 5 enemies is not okay. That said, your positioning here is a little passive. So it seems like you're not really contesting the enemy Reinhardt at the choke. Why is that?
I think in my head I probably wanted to play closer to point, but I don't know exactly why. It's interesting because I actually have I watched your video recently about like steamrolling wins, like your most recent one, and I've actually tried to do that. So I think now I would actually play closer up to the choke, but I don't know why I'm playing so far back, and that's why I sort of put in the message. I feel like there were times when I was playing sort of like passively or giving up a little bit too much space.
Yeah. So basically,
I don't.
Yeah.
I was just saying I don't have a good answer for you. I'm just not playing well.
One of the strongest things you can do as Reinhardt is swinging around corners. It's basically what you and every other Reinhardt player is doing, or should be doing, I guess, in your case, where you just want to position around corners and just swing, because it accomplishes two things. A, you're next to a corner, which is always good, keeps you safe. And B, it applies pressure to the corner, or in this case, even the choke. Right, so literally what you would do is, if we go back a little, so right here, first of all, you would just stay here. You wouldn't fuck off. You would just stay here, and you would just hold down left click, and you would kind of, in the rhythm of your hammer swings, you would just go in and out. Does it make sense, or do you need a visual?
Oh no, I get it, because I it's one of the things I've sort of like picked up on recently is like literally as the hammer sort of like swings back around to one side, you sort of move your character in because of like how the hitboxes are like the edge of the hitbox is sort of the longest away from you until you move in to tap it. Because I've actually gotten like I've hit swings on Reinhardt and I'm like I feel like I'm really far away to hit that swing, but it's because it's sort of the very edge of the hitbox coming in to hit them. So yeah, I definitely know what you mean about the sort of
good. Yeah, it's just because hitboxes are like shaped a little funky. So basically, yeah, you kind of want to like in between swing animations, you kind of go out, and then at the perfect time you go out and you're a little diagonal, and then it's really dumb, but it's like kind of a high skill mechanic that differentiates lesser skilled Reinhardts from those who kind of know what they're doing.
Yep.
Okay.
And then here I should just be still at the corner.
Yeah, again, like this is just giving up so much space. We don't want to do that. And yeah, I mean at this point the map is basically over.
Yep, you can kind of just go to the next one.
Okay.
All right, so on the second point, we lose the first fight, but we win the second fight. And my questions were like, why? Like, how do I not just throw the first fight? Because I feel like I died really easily the first fight, and then the second fight goes super easy, and I don't understand why.
Okay, let's see. Okay, trying to get towards the point first. That's good.
And I thought about like chasing the Rhine, and then then he pins me.
Okay, so so basically, when you are given an opportunity to take free space, you just want to take it.
So like pushing just straight onto point there?
No. So that's the exact opposite. So that's what you did.
Okay.
So normally, since the map is symmetrical, assuming neither team has a Lucio speed boost, they're going to arrive on the point, and then that's where like the fight is going to happen. But if you look at this situation here, that's not what happens. So you can see that actually, like, you're ahead. Like it's a little hard to see, but the enemy Ryan is like here with this like little thing, whereas you're ahead. You know, you're not here, you're a little bit ahead. So that's actually really, really good, because it means that the enemy Ryan is slow for some reason. Okay? When that happens, you don't want to just do what you do here. You just stand around and you wait for him to catch up.
You want to push, okay.
Yeah, you need to punish that. Because as Reinhardt, so as we just learned on the previous map, we always want to position around corners whenever we can.
So would it have been, I think by the time I could have positioning sort of on this left corner by this like tiny one little shrub, like near the health pack room.
You mean this one?
You know, kind of right there. Yeah, like kind of positioning right there.
Yeah, for example, exactly. So
okay.
The map always consists of like corners, you know, and this area is very cornerless, if that makes sense.
Yes,
so
yes.
Because the enemy Ryan is slow, normally he would be at the same position as you, but right here you see, okay, like he's not here, you know, you can just push into him, just punish him for it, because your team is going to have much, much more space to work. Okay.
Gotcha.
Now the problem is that because you didn't, I mean, to be fair, you're Doomfist. I'm not exactly saying that, you know, this fight isn't partially to blame on the Doomfist, but you never want to leave. Like you never want to miss out on opportunity to take free space that the enemy Reinhardt just isn't taking for some reason, you know, because he's slow or something. Because you can see that like he's basically like all of a sudden the positions have switched. Like at the start you had more space, but then you just stopped taking it and he just kept pushing forward.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Like even if you just hold your shield, like run into his face, you know?
Gotcha.
I'm not saying that you should have just ran into him without your shield and start swinging, because you would probably die, but at least while you hold up your shield, push up a little bit and just catch him out in the open.
Yeah, and I guess so. Pause for a second. That's exactly like the same thing that happens on like the I don't know which Nepal map it is, but the one where it's like the left or right side of the map depending on the team. It's like the slight high ground, and it's whoever like if you have a Lucio that gets you out the door first to their door, you just like typically win the fight pretty easily because you just have like so much more space to work with. It's like the same concept.
Basically, yeah. The great thing about King of the Hill is that it's kind of the most fundamentals focused of the game modes. Because it's so short that a lot of emphasis is put on the first fight, which means that like some players they rely on a lot on like big ultimates or long extended flanks or shit like that. You don't really have that here. On in the first fight of King of the Hill, it's very traditional raw Overwatch, where fights are decided by just raw mechanics and raw fundamental game understanding. Which Ryan has better shield management, which DPS lands more headshots, etc.
Yeah.
Which is why actually, if you were smurfing, or if you wanted to do like an unranked 2GM stream, if you could choose which maps, you would always choose King of the Hill maps. It just
okay, gotcha. And so now we go, I think we're waiting for the regroup. We end up going right here.
It is very commendable that you wait for the regroup, but King of the Hill, as I mentioned earlier, is very fast-paced. So when you lose the first team fight, you really, really, really want to try and just get like your ultimate as quickly as possible.
Yeah. So I could have like
Fire Strike.
Yeah, get there a little early, send some fire strikes in, and then the tracer ints.
Well, it's so funny. She just blinks past you, and then in the kill feed it just says that she got fucking shit on.
Can you go to the Doomfist perspective real quick? I kind of just want to see this. I don't even know if she was like she's full health too. Damn.
Okay. That is one way to play the game, I guess. Okay, he feeds in the first team fight, but then the enemy tracer feeds in the next team fight. Again, it's just a little unfortunate that we didn't have our ultimate. So this
I'm like swinging.
Good.
Health is good.
You just see, like, he just doesn't understand Reinhardt fundamentals whatsoever. Look, he went for a fucking fire strike while you were swinging on him. That is so dumb. Okay, but again, like, it's good because it means that at least you're better than this Reinhardt, and the enemy Reinhardt is supposedly representative of Reinhardt players at this rating. So
you should never fire strike when you're getting swung on.
No. Fire strike is like your long distance ult farming tool. The only time you would fire strike outside of that is if you land like a big shatter and you just want some AoE damage while you run in to close the gap. Okay, yeah, that was a very, very decisive fight, at least.
Yeah, so their Reinhardt kind of threw that, and that's why it was so easy. Okay, got it.
Overwatch, to a certain degree, is always a numbers game. Sometimes you can play correctly and still lose. Sometimes you play dumb and you get carried. It's just one of the unfortunate realities of the game.
Yeah, and here I'm sort of like positioning really far back. It's the same thing we talked about before. Like I think I could have positioned up towards the choke right here, even like further up. Like so, go back of like 5-10 seconds. Yeah, a little bit more. Yeah, like right here. Like why not just kind of like camp this health pack for a second, at least get a fire strike off, and then like I have this whole room to run back to if I need to. Yeah, I'm playing like really passively here.
Yeah, you could have gone for a fire strike like from this angle. This is a really good basically, you always want to throw your fire strikes at corners because that way the enemies don't have any chance to react.
Yeah, and I've gotten a lot better at that after this game at least.
And right here, this is like a double corner. You know, you can fire strike past two corners. What more do you want in life? You know, super juicy. By the way, for reference, if you ever become a Widow main, these double corner positions are also positions that Widowmaker players really like.
Okay.
But yeah, you would look for the fire strike around the corners, and then you can just hold this corner here.
Yep.
But we don't.
I would play like a scared little.
Just.
Yeah.
The problem is that as the main tank, you kind of dictate the pace of fights, which means that if you play aggressively, your teammates are also going to play aggressively, and vice versa. If you play passively, they're not going to really do as much. And right here, you're just letting them
just walk straight on.
And now the Tracer has a bunch of space to play with, and your team
Yeah,
is just
and I'm
surrounded,
confused, and I have to now hide. I'm at 8, and somehow I don't die here. I tried to counterpin and I missed. I think the Moira faded into me,
Yeah, I think so.
and somehow they're bad enough that we're not gonna. Or my Pharah
Yeah,
ult.
you-
Yeah, my
this-
Pharah
this-
ults. So
You know, this is the great thing. Like, sometimes you play a team fight correctly and you lose. This is one of those team fights where you kind of just...
you play it shit and you still win it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, we at least have a second chance to set up here. Fire striking the
And
corner, very nice. Let's see if we can actually play the corner this time. This time we're not backing up yet. Going for another fire strike. Very good. You have your shatter. Just
And now I
go.
see them going right side, and it takes me a little bit too long to react to that.
Yeah, yeah. If you would have just like, you could have seen them moving right side earlier. If you just use your shield, you know, like you can blink your shield up for like a second, so you get the third person perspective, and then you would have seen that they kind of go to the right side, and at that point you just
Yep,
shatter them all.
I don't know if they take the point or not. I might play this poorly and they still lose.
I mean, you are a little
So
slow to react there. Your team
why not fire
does-
striking?
Um,
I mean, I have my ult, so
Yeah, so exactly. So yes, you should still be fire striking. Of course, it's better than doing nothing, but it's less important. So it's when you have your ultimate, it's okay to neglect the fire striking duty a little bit, so you can focus on finding that shatter opportunity.
yeah. And here I'm mirroring the Ryan because I'm trying. I think. Yeah, I know he has shatter, and I'm trying to like blink my shield to like get him
Oh
to
no,
use
no,
it.
no, no, that's not your goal. Oh no, no. When both Ryans have shatter, your goal is not to like block his. Your goal is to land yours before he does his. Because if you
Gotcha.
land your shatter first, then either he lands his shatter as well, in which case, you know, nothing happens, I guess.
Yeah.
Or he doesn't, in which case, GG.
Because I've heard like so many players talk about like trying to like bait out the enemy shatter, and it's like
You do that when you don't have shatter.
okay.
When you do have shatter, you just focus on landing the better shatter.
Got it. And meh.
Because that was not the better shatter. Yeah.
No, it was not. That's that.
And then he also just shatters. Like, those are both just kind of terrible shatters, not gonna lie. How did you get the Tracer? I'm so
I don't know.
confused.
I don't know. This is like, I think this was at like gold level at the time. So
You
that's
just-
that elo.
You just press shift and stuff dies. It's a very magical experience.
Yeah. And somehow by some miraculous feat we win this point. Like, no thanks to me.
Well, do we have any questions so far?
Nothing that you haven't already explained.
Okay. Then, what do you have to say about map number 3?
So I think this one was just I think I only had a question about the last fight, like right before we end. The game ends, because I think I ended up giving up a little bit too much space, and it felt like I was playing passively.
And again, your fundamentals here are okay. Again, it's just always a little unfortunate to see how the enemy Ryan always has more space than you do. In this case, you at least have an excuse, because this time they have a Lucio, so there's nothing you could have done. But yeah, it's just always a bit of an uphill battle. Okay, playing around our armor. Yeah, that was good. Fire striking as much as you can. Enemy Ryan dies again. Like, so far you've just outperformed the Ryan every single time, which is really good.
And here it's just cleanup.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, it's so funny now that like I'm watching it back one more time. It's like, oh, the fights that go the smoothest are the ones where I'm just not a fucking idiot.
It'll only get worse, trust me.
Yeah, but it's like I think we had talked about it last time. It's so true. Like if you just give them the opportunity, the enemy will just throw the game for you. Like
Basically, yes. Basically. Let's see if we can land a big shatter here. See, right here, like, sometimes you can be bold with your shatter, you know? If you know if you won, since you won the first team fight, you'll have your ultimate first. You can abuse that.
Mhm.
Instead of just
Gotcha.
chilling here, you could have just gone to the left, because
blank and yeah.
and just flank them. Yeah, again, if you don't know whether he has a shatter, then obviously don't, but you knew that he doesn't have shatter. So
And he
instead of
blocks it.
forcing this situation, yeah, it's just a little awkward. Also, you don't have to force the shatter into the shield. You can just wait for the shield to break. Since you're,
Gotcha.
if you know that you're better than the enemy Ryan, or more specifically, if you know that your shield management is better than the enemy Ryan, it is perfectly fine for you to just, wait until his shield breaks, since you're going to outlast him, and then you can shatter him.
I think we lost a few people, so I'm just calling for the regroup.
Yeah. Again, this is just kind of the king of the hill dynamic. This is the problem when you whiff your ultimate, because you give the enemy team an opportunity to retake momentum.
I actually stay in a little bit long here. I do survive.
Yeah, that's fine. Oh, why do you go back so far?
I don't know. I think I genuinely tried to hit the wall and I missed.
Okay. Yeah, you kind of ditched your Doomfist in there. Okay, so game plan here should be clear. We're pretty close to our ultimate. We just want to get it and then look for a big shatter. Man, this enemy Ryan is... What the fuck is your mercy?
And then there's the echo. I'm trying to get out, and somehow I get out.
Yeah. Oh, this is like such a mess.
And here I just play like really conservatively because there's 2 Reinhardts.
Yeah, no. Against Echo, since you know that she has shatter, it's okay to deny her the shatter, because if you deny her the shatter and her ultimate runs out, that's a lot of value wasted. Okay, apparently that Kree ult was necessary. Okay, perfect.
But it could take space here. Could push up a little bit.
You could. Like, at least to this corner, you can even, like... So, pushing up to here is a little bit dangerous, because you're quite literally fighting an uphill battle. So in this case, playing around this corner, this is like the next best corner to play around. But yeah, you could have pushed up here earlier, at least so you can get some fire strikes in and get your ultimate a little sooner. See, so right here, again, like, it's a little... You're a little conservative.
Yeah.
Like, your Symmetra ulted. Why do you not play more aggressively? I mean, okay, so first of all, like, first big mistake, of course, is that, again, you just give up this corner for no reason at all. Right? Instead of standing here and just swinging around the corner, you're all the way back there, which isn't great. And then, instead of just rushing the Rhine down, because, there's a big Symmetra wall protecting you, you kind of, you play like very safe.
Back up, yeah.
You're scared of the... Like, this Rhine should have been dead, which inadvertently would have also saved your Symmetra. So yeah, again, just hold that corner. You're better than the enemy Rhine, but unless he just forces you into fights, you kind of just let him do what he wants, which isn't good. Okay,
yeah. I die, but then we win.
Okay.
So yeah, I definitely could have played much more, not even like aggressive, but like just proactive. Like just take more space. Yeah, that's the